It was almost like she couldn't see or hear me. It was so bizarre. This thing is massive. She was born with Entropion. I think they like it. Good morning. I'm trying to think where we left off last night. So I believe this doe here had just kidded and I tubed her kid. This one right here was real like floppy. They both actually were pretty floppy, and that kid continued to just be floppy and didn't really perk up for a couple hours. So I had ended up I made a couple new pens, and I have one more panel. If I have to, I can divide this one. I don't normally use heat lamps as a regular thing. I mean, it's not that cold, but like that litter, there's a huge difference in size. I'll show you. So she's got like that really decent sized kid, and then she's got this teeny tiny right here. And that one also had a pretty small one, and those small ones just seemed to like not be getting off the ground. So I thought, well, so they don't get cold, I have the ability to set up. I have 3 heat lamps, so I thought, well, I'll just set them up. And then when I had this floppy kid born, I thought, well, that one really needs a heat lamp. So that one made it good through the night. My daughter came for supper last night. I could tell that this doe here was getting close. So I thought, well, I'll just get her in a pen quick before my daughter comes, and then I can watch her on the camera, and she's already separated. And then before my daughter left, she came out, and you know, she was looking at all the kids and stuff, and she went to go load some stuff in her car, and I gave the rabbits water, and we came back like just a few minutes later, and I was gonna give hay to all these does in their buckets, and there was a kid laying in this pen and completely untouched. Peanut was in the opposite corner, like just completely zoned out. She had no idea what was going on. Like zero recognition that she had kidded. And I brought it over to her. I was like, hey, did you, sometimes they just flop out and they come out so easy that like they don't even realize they pushed them out. And then as soon as you show them, they're like, oh, okay. Brought it over, zero recognition that this was her kid. She wanted nothing to do with it, but it was almost like she couldn't see or hear me. It was so bizarre. A couple minutes later, she had the next one, and that one was just a head, no legs. So I was gonna like get in the pen to help her because I could see it didn't have any legs, and she got up and plopped it out. Just walked away, and she was such a good mom last year. So I was like, what is going on? She stood there, zero awareness of what was going on around her. None. I held the kids up. She didn't want to. Oh, are you kidding? Looks like we got to push her. Oh, okay. Hold on. This has kind of been the theme this year. Like nobody looks like they're gonna kid. They just kind of lay down and plop them out, which is great. Okay, well, I guess I'll finish my story while we watch her kid. I helped the kids nurse. They were both really, really vigorous. So I helped them nurse, and she didn't reject them. She didn't push them away. She let them nurse. I thought maybe if I stimulated her udder a little bit, get the oxytocin going, that she would like perk up. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She was like a zombie. I didn't get the camera out because I was just so busy dealing with trying to perk her up and getting these kids going. Eventually, their bellies were full. I went in the house. I was done for the night, and I checked my camera right before I went to bed, and it had been like 45 minutes since I had fed like make sure those guys had gotten fed. And then a different doe was like having a pissing match with another one. They were like trying to prove who could be the best mom. And they were like relentlessly poking their kids to get up and nurse. So the kids would get up, they'd like nurse for 3 seconds and then try to go lay back down. And they'd just paw and paw and paw. And they were like getting really obsessive and weird. So I thought, oh my gosh. So I got out of bed, I got dressed again, I came back out and just like moved the kids to another corner and moved them to separate corners so they'd like, I don't know, forget that they were being stupid. And that worked. I thought, while I'm out here, I'll just help these kids nurse one last time from that mom that was in a trance. So I got them on her again, and about halfway through, all of a sudden she started to drop her cleanings. So that nursing on her udder stimulated some oxytocin release. All of a sudden, like, she flung her head up and she turned around and looked at them and started like nibbling on their tails and licking a little bit. And it was like all of a sudden the scales came off and she realized she was a mom, and she perked up and then started loving on them. Probably 2 hours since she had passed. And it took her that long to like come out of it. It was so truly bizarre. Okay, apparently she's not actually doing anything. So I've been watching them on the camera, and she has been letting them nurse, and now she loves them. Very strange. So I have plans tonight. My daughter and son-in-law are on the fire department, and as a fundraiser, the fire department has started doing bingo twice a month. Are you gonna actually push now? Now that I'm finally off on Tuesdays, I can do bingo. I don't really like bingo. I don't do anything outside of the farm, really. I mean, other than family gatherings and the occasional trip to the grocery store. I don't do anything. Okay, she's not gonna let me talk. We'll talk about this later. Nope, not yours. Not so sure. Good morning. Well, I was able to go to bingo last night with my daughter and my daughter-in-law. I kept an eye on my camera while I was gone, and I had a doe who just seemed to not be making any progress. So when I got home, I checked her out, and she had a dead one that had been dead for probably days. That was kind of clogging it up. She had one of the kids, I had to work on it quite a while to revive it, and I ended up putting a needle, kind of put it up in that space there by its nose, and it kind of stimulates them to take a big gasp, and we got him going. So, and then when I was finishing up with them, that one was real dopey, so I ended up milking her and tubing him. And then this girl here started to kid, and then her second one really wasn't coming, and I thought I'll check it out because I wanted to go in and go to bed. The first one was really big, so I figured the second one was too. This thing is massive. I bet it's 15, 16 pounds. It's huge. He has like neck rolls. He's so chubby. So I haven't weighed him yet. I wasn't in the mood at midnight. I just wanted to go in. I don't know if we're gonna see any kids today. Who knows? I'm home all day today and tomorrow, so I am hoping to get to town today. We need some provisions. My husband also texted me and said that the trusses are going to be delivered today to extend this barn out. So it should be 3 trusses, I think. 3 or 4? No, 3, because we're extending it out 27 feet. So I actually have no idea where he wants them. We have so many pallets of black and stuff laying around, and the trailers are in the way. I don't know. They might have to go in the driveway where our cars park, because that might be the only place. So this doe that had that pull last night, she's just not feeling great. Typically I do give does some meloxicam right off the bat if they have a hard pull. If they had one that was male positioned and I ended up doing a lot of manipulation or had to use the head snare or anything like that, I usually do treat them right away. It was midnight when I went in last night, and she looked like she was doing well, and it just slipped my mind. But now you can see she's kind of like hunched over. I did call my vet because like her muscles between her hips and her tail there were they're like twitching a little, and I thought, ooh, I don't know what that means. So I gave her a call quick, and she said that can just be like a normal pain response. And she said she probably just feels like garbage. So go ahead and give her the meloxicam, and she should be feeling better. So I'll give her that today and tomorrow and see how she's doing. And then we'll reevaluate from there. And the new meloxicam I ordered fits in my balling gun. Thank goodness. Not those stupid big ones. This little girl right here, she was born with Entropion. That's when this bottom lid like folds under. So like all those hairs there are rubbing on their eyeball. You typically can fix that by just peeling that eye back and undoing it. And I've done it every day for like 3 days now, and it finally stayed. If rolling it back is unsuccessful, you can actually take that lower lid and inject penicillin into it. You just get it between the layers of skin, and then you blow it up real big so it looks like they got a big black eye and it's sticking out like that, and it plumps it up, and it doesn't allow it to roll back under. And then as that penicillin is like absorbed back in and comes down, by then the eye has like gone back to normal. I've had to do that twice, and it has worked both times. Hi, Sweet Pea. She's still got a little bit of crusties, because when they're a lot of times you can't like tell right away that they have Entropion just by looking at them. You don't see it when they're born, but then like the next morning then their eye starts weeping because that's bothering them, and they get all kind of crusty, and they'll have like all this drainage coming down. This little girl is so sweet and docile. Yes, you are. Your mom is kind of crazy though. She crazy. Look at her neck chub. She's so chubby. She was born with chub. You were born with your chub. That's pretty unusual. So I set up my hot box today. I think they like it. So I just took this one pen, put my creep panel in it, and then it's just the insert from an IBC tote with a heat lamp in it. It's hanging suspended with plenty of air around it. It takes a little bit for these kids to figure out the creep. Oh, there. Can you figure it out, sweetie? Turquoise, let him come through. Good job. This doe that I gave Meloxicam to this afternoon still really hasn't eaten anything. She just feels like crap. I'm just gonna drench her with some electrolytes just to try to keep her energy levels up. I think I'm gonna cut them off early tonight and get them inside because it is snowing. It wasn't supposed to start till tomorrow. They didn't get the forecast right. Big shocker. I mean, we already got quite a bit just in the last like 15 minutes here. I'm over it already. So I'm gonna, no, get inside. I'm gonna lock them in for the night and just be done. This wind is really cold and nasty. Once you get it closed up in here, it's just so much nicer, especially for these ones in the corner with brand new kids. I am pretty sure that I'm gonna have a couple kids born tonight. Paisley is acting definitely not herself. She's normally like, she's a very sweet goat to people, but she's a total bag to other goats. And she's like only worrying about herself and not anybody else, which is very strange behavior for her. So pretty sure she's in the beginning stages. So of course I ran to town because we needed some toilet paper. And she was doing nothing when I left and had them like 20 minutes later. So I think I'm gonna end up tubing that one for sure. I just milked her out and her colostrum is so thick, there's no way it'll go through a tube. So I do have some lower quality stuff in the freezer that I'm gonna mix with it just to thin it down a little bit, because I'll never be able to get that down into it otherwise. Paisley's been like in the zone for a really long time and she hasn't really progressed, so I'm just gonna check her, see what's going on. It's just this over and over, up and down. Stop moving. Okay. Okay, here you go. Paisley. Little girl. You turn around. Alright, can you handle the next one? I'm not sure what your deal was. She's taking way too long to have this second one, so I'm gonna see what's going on. Because there is not a second one. That's shocking. This is the first single she's ever had. She's always had triplets. One baby, Paisley. Sorry. I thought there were more.